If you pro-black, you can't date outside your race. It's literally a part of being pro-black, creating black families, whole black families.
All black women are not loud. All black women are not ghetto. All black women don't have a bad attitude.
My interest in dating another black man is like 1% at this point.
When I first came here, I was in the notion that like all the black people like we don't like each other. We're not. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Guys, black dating is in danger. I mean serious danger. Code red, all of the alerts, sound the alarms, because this has been going on for years now. For a long time on social media, black people have been getting on to TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that, and expressing their frustrations when it comes to dating within inside the black community. And this is a big problem for us because only 30% of black adults are married. So our numbers in getting married are going down drastically, and we're not even getting married to each other a lot of the times. And I'm not saying every black person has to date another black person, but if we want to keep diversity in this world, then we just have to be a little bit more exclusionary when it comes to who we date. That's just the nature of the situation, sadly. But it's also a personal problem because I want a black woman. I've never seen myself with any other race but a black woman. I have dated other races, but my preference is a black woman. And I have felt more strain as the years go on, especially after like 2022. I just felt more strain between me and black women within my own community. And I want to understand that. I want to alleviate it so I can get a black woman, so you can get a black man, black woman, whatever you into, you know? So I really want to bring some more light to this discussion so we can start healing within our community. I really think the black communities need to start sticking together way more than we ever did in the past. But we're going to go over, you know, why the women aren't liking the men, why the men aren't liking the women. We're going to talk about colorism and stereotypes within our community. And we're also going to talk about interracial dating, how the black community feels about that. But I got the stats, I got the notes, I got clips, so we go get right into it. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I got videos just like this coming out where I talk about music, culture, dating, stuff like that. Anyway, we're not gonna waste any more time. Let's get right into this. We're gonna start with black men and why they aren't with black women right now. A lot of black men have expressed frustration when it comes to the attitude of black women, when it comes to weights, hair, a lot of stuff. Black men have been very vocal about what they do and do not like from black women. And a lot of it boils down to how masculine women are nowadays. I think in this time, women are just a little bit more masculine. They get degrees, they go out to the world, they work amongst men, they see the attitudes, they have to compete with men, so they have to be a little bit more masculine. I understand that. But at the same time, a black man will say that about a black woman and sometimes end up with a white woman who shares those same characteristics, but they're not black. So we're going to get into why she thinks this is going on. We're going to delve a little bit more deeper into this.
And when it comes to these black men who specifically say that they don't date any black women, like a black women whatsoever, you have to look at the relationship with their mother or their grandmother or any of the women in their life. And that will tell you why that man is saying that. Because a lot of the times when black men be like, they don't want to date no black woman whatsoever, it don't matter. Even though they have not encountered every single black woman, yet they stereotype and categorize all black women into this category. So now to them, all black women ain't shit, or they too this, or they too that. Right? So how my mind works, I try to look at the relationship they have with their grandmother, their mother. And if they have a negative perspective of their mama, their grandmama, or the women in their life, the black women in their life, they will take that out on all the black women on this earth. It's not so much as black women are to this, to that. They really be having mommy issues. 9 times out of 10, it's something internal in them. They have these issues internally, right? Because how can you say all black women are this or that when you have not met all black women? All black women are not the same. All black women are not loud. All black women are not ghetto. All black women don't have a bad attitude. Just like women of other races, all of them are not submissive. All of them are not kind. All of them do not treat you better. There are liars, manipulators, abusers in every race. So if you as a black man is saying that you don't want nothing to do with the black woman, the woman that was made for you, the woman that you create, then that's something internally that you have within yourself. That ain't got nothing to do with us. And it'd be so funny to me how y'all perspectives be like all black women are this or that. But then you go date a white woman who comes from a race of people who enslaved your ancestors and oppress your people to this day. But all white women are not that way. But for some reason, all black women are a particular way. You see how that don't make sense? You need to go fix that. If that's you, you need to work on that within yourself. Don't blame us.
What she mentioned at the end is pretty much the whole underlying reason for this problem. You're prejudiced, basically. You assign one characteristic because you had a certain experience with a certain demographic, one member of a certain demographic. You have one experience from a member of a certain demographic, and now you're painting this experience on a broad scale. You're saying everybody that's in this demographic is like this, and that's just prejudice. Some people call it racism. I would say, you don't know what that means, bro. But it is a big problem within every community, really. But within the black community, yes, a lot of black men grow up with single moms, sisters, stuff like that, aunties, and they see how they interact with men. And sometimes those interactions just aren't that positive. You're watching your mother interact in very negative ways, especially if she's a single mother. So as a man, you kind of get these experiences with your sisters, your mom, your auntie, and you realize, oh yeah, a lot of these black women are kind of belligerent. A lot of them are loud, they yell. I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of them are, especially within my own family. The women yell a lot. You can't have a nice conversation with them. If anything's just a little bit too triggering, if anything's just a little bit too uncomfortable, then they start to blow up. I've noticed that within my own family, and when I got out into the world, when I turned 18 and I went off to college, I was a little bit more scared of women than I am right now. I would think women are kind of demeaning, kind of angry at you. They don't want to talk. They are just mean. A lot of young men grow up in households like that where they hear their mother yelling all the time, and they do, sadly, in their young age, paint that brush onto every black woman in the community. And it's just wrong. It's simply wrong. But you have to understand where they're coming from at the same point. So if you're a man and you feel like this, you really have to take yourself up out of the situation, reflect, meditate, and get around some more positive role models, more positive black women. I work with women now, so I get to see the patterns. I get to see, the mindsets of different women and their upbringings. If you talk to them, you'll get to know their upbringings and how that plays a factor in who you're seeing today. You could be like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense then that you're this way because of what you're telling me about your mom. So it's always about, where somebody's coming from in their experience, but you still have to learn and grow from that experience. Just because you experienced something in the past doesn't mean you're going to experience it forever, and doesn't mean that's the only experience everybody is having. That's just what you ran into, unfortunately. But as you learn, as you get older in life, you just realize that you outgrow certain patterns and ways of being. And as you outgrow those certain patterns and ways of being, you attract people who are now like you. And I think that's really the problem within the black community too, is that black people really just don't like to get better. They really don't work on themselves as much. It's not as promoted within the community, but they still have a lot of problems that they like to list off and don't understand why they're having those problems. I like how she spun it because she brought up the example of the white woman that black women date, and they don't make these assumptions that that white woman is racist because probably that white woman, her great-grandparents probably had slaves, probably beat them to death, So, but we don't extrapolate those same qualities onto white people today. So we can't do that within our community as well. You can't do that to anybody, really. You have to go by what individual people show you. Simply, if you're going to use the logic that I had this one bad experience with a black person, so everybody must be bad, all the black women must be bad, or my family's like this, so this how much every family must be. If you're using that logic, you got to use that logic for everything. It wouldn't make sense for you to date anybody at that point if you have some preconceived notion about a demographic and just paint a broad brush over everybody. In that case, everybody's horrible. Everybody is incompatible. There's nobody you can be with. So as a man, you had to really grow out of that thinking pattern. But we're going to listen to why this man has problems. Because while she mentioned, the upbringing and the negative connotations that some men have with black women, there are real problems that black men actually do have. And we're going to listen to what this black man has to say.
The only thing you can expect from most black women are problems. Look at me. Look right in the camera. The only thing you can expect from most black women, and this is especially true as you get older, are problems that you are tasked to solve, that you are tasked to tolerate, that you are tasked to put up with in the name of the community. Now you're being selfish. Don't you dare ask, what's in it for me? Oh, then now you're selfish. Because relationships suggest reciprocity. Where's the reciprocity? Where is it? And the only thing that you can expect, black man, from black women is problem. Now, they're never going to admit it. Tonight's conversation is never going to admit it, but that's the truth. The only thing you can expect are problems. Not joy, not pleasure, not orgasmic bliss, not good times, not smiles, problems. Word. Be honest. When is the last time a black woman in your life was fun? That's the reason why we put it in the 5F conference. Fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun. When was the last time a black woman was fun? And be honest. Tell the truth and shame the devil. When's the last time you saw a black woman in your life that was fun? Most black women are work. They are. They're like a community cleanup project.
He went kind of postal, he went a little ballistic. I'm not going to say I agree with everything he says. Because again, he's painting with broad strokes here. He's not really being specific, he's generalizing. He's saying all black women are problems. And I'm not going to say all black women are problems. I know that there are very magnificent, elegant, blissful black women out here, so I'm not going to say that. But a lot of black women do come with problems. As you get older, you will just realize a lot of black women are mad or angry. I hate to say it, but I live in Chicago and I have been working with women for 3 years. I don't get as much camaraderie, friendliness from black women than I do Hispanic women in the same community. I have way easier time talking to a Hispanic woman I don't know versus a black woman that I don't know. I remember one time I was working with a chick. I had just started the job. I was fresh, like a week fresh. And we're sitting in this conference room. We're all talking about how paychecks get delayed by a week. And she's sitting there frustrated, not understanding. And I'm like, well, you'll understand when you get your check in a week. And I was kind of making a joke. Everybody laughed. I thought it was a joking situation. Everybody else in the room laughed. She didn't laugh. She said, what the? You just say to me? What the? You just say to me? Who are you? And I'm like, hold on. I'm not trying to make you mad. This was just a joke. It was just a joke. Calm down. And she was like, oh. And she sat down and she was quiet. But then my supervisor got up, walked her out, and she got fired that same day. But I tell that story just to say, like, yeah, a lot of black women, you gotta be cautious as you approach them. You can't just always walk up to a black woman as a black man and expect friendliness. Even when you're joking, even when it's clear that you're joking, a lot of black women will take any opportunity that they can to show their mean side. Not all, but definitely a lot, especially if you live in an urban area. I would say that for sure. Now, I'm not sure if it's just me. Maybe it's just me personally, but I do agree with the fact that a lot of women don't show reciprocity as well. Black women want you to do a lot for them, prove yourself to them, and they really don't know how to prove themselves back. I was just telling one woman I was talking to about this, how I feel like she does not reciprocate communication, how I feel like I put in way more effort and she never ever tried to get better at it. So it was like, okay, well, I kind of have to leave you alone because I'm not going to keep repeating myself, you know? Another woman I was taking to the movies a lot. And she, for whatever reason, I had told her, I need help with my hair. Can you help me out with my hair? And she's like, oh, if I help you with your hair, what does that do for me? I had to tell her, don't I take you to the movies? Yeah, you take me to the movies. I was like, yeah. Don't I drive you home from work? Like, And you don't pay. Like, I don't make you pay or anything. I just take you home, right? She's like, yeah, you do. So I was like, so how is it that helping me with my hair, somehow you need something out of that too? So it's really sometimes just ingrained in a lot of black women that they not supposed to give anything. And it's so perplexing as a man walking into that, running into that problem, because it really does put a distasteful taste in my mouth. I'm not going to say, you know, because of that, now I hate black women, because I know not all black women are like that, but I've ran into that problem a lot. I simply have. I'm not giving up though. I am not giving up. Also, 80% of women value financial stability in a partner. So, when you're talking to a black woman, you have to understand that 80% of the time, she's expecting you to already be financially stable, and she's not looking to contribute to that. She's looking to benefit from it most of the time, which isn't a problem. I really don't have a problem with that dynamic, to be honest. But it's something as a man you have to understand. It's something as a man you can't see as a problem just because she's asking for money or something like that. If she's not giving anything back in any other area, that's when it becomes a problem. Because while 80% of black women value financial stability, 67% of black women prioritize efforts over money, over financial stuff. Which again, I guess just proves his point that women are hard work, man. But we're gonna transition now. We're gonna talk about why black women just really aren't feeling black men nowadays.
Fully aware that I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I am so effing tired of the amount of emotional labor that comes with dating black men. I am so tired of the lack of commitment, the lack of support, the lack of encouragement, the lack of money. Like, I don't know what to do from this point on, but I can tell you one thing. My interest in dating another black man is like 1% at this point. They want us to be ride or dies until they get their shit together, and then they don't want to support us in return. They don't want to commit to us. They don't want to marry us. But then they want all the benefits of being a husband without actually proposing to us. I need someone who's intentional in every single aspect.
As a black woman, I'll just speak for myself. Because I don't want to, and because I don't have to. It should be that simple in 2024, but since it's not, I'll go further. I'm a black adoptee, and I think it's very weird that black men expect me to get online and tell the world how great they are when I'm adopted because the black men in my family failed to protect the children. Okay? I'm not going to go too deep into that, but let's be so for real in the 2024. Harassing your own race of women while you go out there and make whole basketball teams full of biracial children is crazy. I myself have a biracial child, and I just want to say it's very odd that people are harassing the mothers of biracial children and expecting our support.
Now, they brought up very valid reasons why women don't like men. The first woman touched on how there is a lack of emotional support. You know, she always has to emotionally support a man. So I think this is a big problem, especially within the black community. A lot of black men really don't know how to handle their emotions. I primarily work with women, but I do work with some men every now and then. And the men that I have seen that work with me in my environment, the black men, I should say, just are a little bit more unstable. You can't say too much to them and they'll just be okay. But more than that, just the lack of emotional understanding. A lot of men in general just don't take their mental health seriously. They have real problems that affect a situation, affect a relationship, especially with like corn. Corn is a big problem with men nowadays, and that does affect how your relationship plays out. It affects your testosterone levels, it affects your brain matter, it affects a lot that goes on that has repercussions within a relationship. So I think if men took their mental health just a little bit better, then yeah, women would be much more open to dating black men. But a lot of black men are crash outs. A lot of black men are emotional, but they don't see it as emotional when they're crashing out. They see it as being a man. They think it's being masculine when they can't control their feelings and their feelings get the better of them and they're acting out. They think it's power, but it's not. It's just not. Another thing she mentioned was the lack of money, and that's always been pretty much like a big thing within the black community, I would say. I'm not sure of the stats, but black women are women in general are outpacing men when it comes to degrees and stuff like that. They seem to be doing much better in their field. They seem to be progressing faster. They have better finances. You look at their clothes, their cars, stuff like that. And I know these are superficial things, but when you look at the same men within my industry, they're just a little bit more run down. Hair is not cut. Clothes aren't clean. They don't have a car. I got a car. I got a car. What I'm trying to say is if black men took their education a little bit better, their lives a little bit better, stop wanting to be thugs, rappers, actors, ball players, and they tried to go for something a little bit more stable, then and build off of that, then maybe black women would be more interested in that, because not every black woman wants a thug. Not every black woman wants a basketball player or a rapper. They want somebody who's stable within their own life and has money still. But it's hard to find black men who are holding respectable jobs and has money at the same time, which I can totally understand. And the last thing the first woman said is how black men are just kind of non-committal, and that's a sentiment you'll see repeated in this video. The Black Dating app put out some stats, and it said that 70% of black singles experience curiosity in threesomes. They also said that 71% are open to raising children out of two-parent households. It also said 53% are unsure of becoming parents or don't want to at all. So this is the problem when it comes to black dating. A lot of black people in general are just kind of non-committal when it comes to their sexuality, especially. I think that's pretty much just a Gen Z thing though, but within the black community, we are still vulnerable to that. We're vulnerable to the media and what's going on. And I do see I've seen a lot of black women that I went to school with start OnlyFans and stuff like that. And I look at that and I'm like, as a black man, I'm like, okay, yeah, check you off the checklist. And I'm sure a lot of black men feel the same way. I'm sure a lot of black women see the same things with men who post a lot on their timelines and stuff like that. A lot of women express disgust when a man is like posting thirst traps on Instagram and stuff like that, and men do the same thing. But I think this sexual revolution has really committed non-committal attitudes within men. I think black fathers leaving the black household has been a problem for a while, but especially nowadays, black men don't even try to be committal. They really don't even try to make you your girlfriend or anything like that. So I definitely understand where she's coming from with that. And that's a great segue into what that second lady was saying. She said that she's an orphan, and she was orphaned because the men in her family failed to protect the children in the family. And that's a sentiment within the black community that I see a lot. F them kids. I think that's preached a lot within the black community. I hear it a lot. Black men really don't have much responsibility when it comes to raising their children. They really don't try. I've talked to a lot of black men. I've been friends with a lot of black men, so I really do understand how they feel when it comes to getting somebody pregnant. They say some crazy stuff, and in the moment you're like, man, you don't mean that. Man, you don't mean that. But then you look at the statistics and you're like, man, maybe he actually does mean that. Me personally, I could never abandon something that is my child. If I have a child with you, then sadly, I'm stuck with you. I would just have to sadly say I'm stuck with you. But I have enough restraint and discipline not to be putting it in every woman that I see. Sadly, a lot of men don't have that same restraint, especially within the black community. So black women see this. Black women see how their fathers left them, how their uncles are leaving their families and stuff like that. So black women get a distasteful taste in their mouth. And I'm going to say the same thing that I said about the black men hating on black women. You can't see something in your family and then prescribe it to all men. You can't do that because it's not everybody. But I definitely understand the mindset. I understand where she's coming from because the statistics reflect this. In 2023, 47% of black women were single. Not 40% of women, 40% of the black women that had children were also single. So that should really, it's almost half. So that should really reflect where men's commitment is lacking too. Because of course a woman, she can't really give up too much commitment in that situation. Most women, when they have a child, I see that they try to make it work. I'm not going to say every time it's always the man's fault. Sometimes, yeah, it's the woman's fault. But a lot of the time it is the men stepping out and not wanting to step up to that responsibility. And the number wouldn't be that surprising, but if you look at other races, like 25 of Hispanic women that have children are single mothers, only 25%. 14% of white mothers are single mothers, only 14. And then Asian, only 8% of Asian mothers are single mothers. So this is clearly a problem within the black community. This is a problem specific, unique to the black community. I mean, for the next highest number was Hispanics, and they're 25. That's 22% less than the black woman, almost half of our percentage, you know? So it's very interesting to see that pattern and see the attitude reflected in women. As men, we had to step up more, but also as women, you had to pick better because, again, patterns can be recognized before you get into something serious. But we're also going to talk about something that plagues the community, which is colorism, because colorism has always played a part within who we choose and how the culture sees its own members. So we're going to listen to some black women and what media pushes forward when it comes to colorism.
That's something that I've had trouble with recently. Dating, not even just like, well, within my race and outside my race, because I've found, and I was talking to somebody about this today, that I am more respected, unfortunately, by people who are outside of my race than black men. And
I feel that.
Even like, I haven't had a problem necessarily with African men. I feel like African men, it's a little different.
Yeah.
But like African American men are like, I won't say all, sorry y'all, are very full of like self-hatred and self-criticism.
Yeah, exactly.
And they like don't like dark skin.
They don't like.
women.
I don't understand. Like,
and that's fine.
even if they
Stay
do,
over there.
They try to prefer. They're like, oh, like I want a girl whose hair is like finer.
Right.
Like it's like this texture.
Light skin,
Okay,
blue
go
eyes,
exactly.
green
Go
eyes.
find who you like. Why
They're
are you
out there.
coming over to me to
Yes.
tell me all that? That's none of my business.
I'm
Like,
saying.
when I first came here, I was in the notion that like all the black people like we
don't like each
other. We're not. Oh, it's so
We're not.
bad.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
And I
What they were expressing is something that a lot of black women go through, especially darker skinned women. I feel like the stigma towards darker skinned women that I hear a lot anyway is that they're aggressive, loud, and just a little bit unclean. That's at least what I hear from within my own community. And you'll even hear this rhetoric in college, you know, you'll hear this when you go out in public. You think that you're all one and unified and think that you are cool because you're black people, but just because of the color, how dark you are, some black people actually do look at other black people based off how light or dark they are, which is a crazy concept. It's like, come on now, what are we really doing? I thought Martin Luther King already abolished this. Like, what are we doing, y'all? They want those European features. They want looser hair textures. They want fairer skin, not just for, you know, their own fetishes or whatever their preferences are. They also want that for their children as well.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I personally don't think it's anything wrong with dark-skinned women. I just say it's not my I don't prefer it. I don't prefer it because nigga, I'm dark-skinned too. Like, I don't want my kid to grow up black as hell. Motherfuckers already be thinking, nigga, I'm African. I'm just black. I'm just dark-skinned, gang. That's it. Kids need a fair chance, gang. They need a fair chance. Like 5th grade to like 7th grade, bro, there's no holes for you, gang. You're an African booty scratcher, gang. No holes, no holes. Into the great switch, that is. Into the great switch.
So, it is a big problem when it comes to darker skinned women within our community. They really don't get as much attention from the men within our community. And again, that's because of preconceived notions. So you'll hear things like African booty scratcher and, oh, dark as midnight and stuff like that, thief in the night, stuff like that. You'll hear those things about darker skinned people in general within the community, but especially with women, when it comes to dating, their pool shrinks dramatically, even amongst other dark-skinned men. Other dark-skinned men look at them and they don't want that because they don't want their children to be too dark. It's such a crazy problem to have within this community. Again, because of where black people have come from, you would think because of how our parents and grandparents were treated in the past, we would have learned something from that and not treat each other like that. But sadly, it is still prevailing within our own culture. But dark-skinned women ain't the only ones getting it out here. It's a problem for light-skinned men too.
Now, is he someone that's your type?
No.
Okay, and why not?
I like my skin tone darker.
So, why'd you end up hopping his balloon?
Because he's more on the lighter side.
Okay.
Yellow guys, really not my go-to.
I knew it.
Yeah. But
And now, is he someone that's your type?
You're a nice gentleman, but probably not.
Okay. And why not?
I just really don't like light skin like that.
Because I have
It's not light skin, is it?
Thank God. Don't bring this back, please.
We can shine together. We
I
can shine.
do believe in contrast. I do.
So as you see, it's even light-skinned women that don't like light-skinned men. And of course, it's because light-skinned men get these traits. They're called feminine and soft and emotional and stuff like that. They're just seen as more feminine within our community. And I'm not gonna lie, as a light-skinned brother, I am a little bit more emotional. Like, I get in my feelings for real. But there's times and moments where people think I'm a psychopath. People call me sociopathic and stuff because of how I can turn off the emotion at the same time. I feel like, you know, it doesn't matter what your skin color is. It's not gonna reflect what your personality is like. It's not gonna reflect your emotional condition, how well you can emotionally handle yourself. It doesn't matter. But you just see that this idea of colorism within the community is pervasive, and it affects light-skinned men just the same way that it affects dark-skinned women. Typically, when people say colorism, they're referring to the preference for lighter-skinned members of a certain community or ethnic group. I think of colorism as just prejudice or discrimination against somebody's color. Like, I just don't like how dark you are. It doesn't matter if you're in my ethnic group or not. If somebody says, I don't like you because you are dark, I don't think that's racist. I think that's colorist. I don't think it's racist to say, oh, I'm not going to date you because your skin is too light. I don't think that's racist. I think that's colorist. If somebody said, oh, I'm not going to date you because you're Mexican, then that's different. Now, if someone says, oh, I only date light-skinned Mexicans, I don't date the dark-skinned Mexicans, then that's a problem too. It's colorism. It doesn't matter if you're within the community or without that community. It is colorism. It doesn't matter how you point it or where you're pointing it from. Now, me personally, as a light-skinned man, I prefer dark-skinned women. I love dark-skinned women. If you saw my last video, you also know I like older women too. I'm just kind of a standout within the black community. I'm a little bit of a standout. But I really do appreciate dark-skinned women. I've always have, but I have noticed, you know, my male friends, they don't like dark-skinned women. They seriously want those lighter-skinned women, and you'll hear that repeated amongst men. And even as I'm dating, trying to get to know more black women, I have way harder time getting a black woman's number than a Mexican woman's number. Seriously. And if I do talk to a black woman, she's probably brown skin or light skin, because the dark skinned women ain't going for me. The dark skinned women seriously prefer other dark skinned men. And the light-skinned women prefer dark-skinned men. Majority of the time. Just majority of the time. I'm not going to say everybody, but it is a trend that I run into. And I've had people that I'm talking to me, they be like, yeah, you're perfect. You're great. I like how you look. I like how you talk and everything. You're cool. You got nice job. But you're a little light, man. You're just a little bit light. If you was a little bit darker, you'd be my type all the way down. And I'm like, damn. Damn. It's that deep. It's really that deep for people. And I understand preference. I can definitely understand preference, but we have to really understand where these ideals and preferences are coming from. I was watching a Jubilee video, and a woman mentioned how colonialism has played a major part in how the black community interacts with each other.
Realistically, I would definitely want to marry a black man. I know that we've experienced a lot of trauma in our community, and I think that trauma stems back from our colonizers, which have put us against each other. And it makes it difficult for us to come together and be healthy in a relationship, if that makes sense.
And I find that to be very true because of the ideals that get passed down from the white community. When colonialism was happening, Christianity was a big thing. They were beating Christianity into Africans. So I think the ideals, just like Christianity stuck with black people and they carried it on forever, other ideals that happened in colonialism stuck with black people, and they're still carrying those same ideals. So I really do think colonialism plays a big part in it. More than anything, it's reflected in our media. The superstars that we see and who they're hanging out with, and the women that we see portrayed on magazines and stuff like that are typically light-skinned, looser textured hair. You know, so I see this colorism problem in the community, and my biggest thing is like, come on now. I don't even know much really to say about this other than stop being a bigot, stop being judgmental, stop being prejudiced, because this is just outright discrimination. There is no other way around it. I understand preference. If it is seriously just a preference for you, go ahead. Like, I prefer dark-skinned women. I prefer them. I'm not gonna hate a light-skinned woman, and I would never tell a light-skinned woman, oh, you're not my type because you're colored. No, you're still my type. Don't get it wrong. You're still my type. But for whatever reason, you're gonna have your preference, and if you like dark-skinned women, then go ahead and get you a dark-skinned woman. You like light-skinned women, go ahead and get you a light-skinned woman. But don't get you a light-skinned woman thinking, oh, it's because light-skinned women are soft and they're feminine and dark-skinned women are masculine, so I gotta get a light-skinned. Stupidity. Stupidity. Don't get a dark-skinned man thinking, oh, he's a dark-skinned man, so he works hard, he's solid, he's gonna provide and pay all the bills, and the slong is gonna be long. It's gonna have a long slong, John. That's not what happens. It's not always true for that type of person, that colored person. So it's really prejudiced, and that's really all I can say about that. Stop fucking being prejudiced, guys. But we're gonna talk about some more problems within the black community when it comes to archetypes and the members of our community.
So I wanted to address something that's a major problem in the black community, in which the fact is dating in our own community. Because I feel like the slave master or society itself did a number on us. Because most black women, I'm not saying all, but most at least, they want a YN. Because those same black women feel like those men keep them protected, safe, look like they about to kick somebody's ass like a hood nigga, you know? Versus, let's say, a highly educated black man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he stays out the way, he knows his shit. Oh, he's soft. But let's say that black man goes and dates a Becky, Taylor, Jessica, Charlotte, any white girl, right? Oh, now it's a fucking problem, you know what I'm saying? We got issues now. But let's say that black woman dates a white man. I mean, it's an issue, but it's not as big as an issue as a black man dating a white girl. I'm only talking about this is because I was watching a video from a YouTube channel named Miss Brownstone and Hex Speaks. They was talking about this particular topic, and they had some very great insight on this whole situation regarding the black community. This is how you know they got us real good, man. I'm telling you right now. Hell, I even forgot to mention this. Like, a black girl that's intelligent, you know, she reads a lot, well-educated, and certain black men out there, they don't really fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like, she knows her shit, but they're not really rocking with it. And also those same black women that fuck with these hood dudes and YNs, it's like, bro, that's toxic masculinity, because that's what they don't see in those men. Because those types of men at times are like very sensitive as well. But with those things right there, that's why they really did a number on us. And we got to stick together and be in unison, especially in these times of the world. Absolutely, we need to the most. But that's just my take on this whole thing.
I touched on it a little bit in this video, but the archetypes within our community are pretty negative. They're pretty destructive too, to ourselves. Like he said, a lot of black women do prefer thugs. A lot of black women find security in being with hard men that are emotionally unstable, psychotic even sometimes. But women, for whatever reason, are attracted to darker traits within a man, I guess because it signifies masculinity, dominance, assertiveness, whatever you want to call it. But when women choose these men over and over, really, you're just reinforcing this behavior for other men. Other men will see, oh, if I'm a bum, if I disrespect her, if I go and beat up a few people, these women are going to love me. And sadly, it works. It sadly works, like, surprisingly well. So I would say, for women within the community, you really had to pick better. You really had to be more open to the guy who's soft, who's educated and stuff like that. I think he kind of touched on that point a lot too, how education within the community is not really favored. It's not really respected within the community. It's not a dating preference. The dating preferences are, oh, how much money he make? Oh, how dominant is he? Or, oh, how big is her booty? Or, oh, does she walk and talk nice and she got a nice smile? Because again, even the black men don't even go after the smart black women that are in our communities. And there's a lot of them. Growing up, I grew up in a black community, so I went to public school and I would see how people would choose and pick people. And sadly, yes, the negative stuff that we see in media about black people keep reinforcing with their dating preferences. A lot of black men just go after big booty, belligerent women. I'm sorry to say that. I am so sorry to say that. I wouldn't say, you know, the type is sexy red, but the type is definitely Ice Spice. Most black men don't care too much about a woman's education or a woman's capabilities. What they care about more than anything is how she looks and how she behaves, how feminine is she. And I understand that. I definitely understand that as a man, but I definitely love a black woman who is educated and can do things, is capable. You know, I'm not saying she has to be independent. I'm not saying she has to be Mrs. Solve the World, flying around with a cape. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that black men actually don't value that capability, that education at all. And you'll hear men of all races say that. You'll hear men say, oh, we don't care about your education, we don't care about your job, we don't care about what you're doing. But you should, because that is a great indicator of the value that that woman can bring. It's a great indicator of how well you guys are aligned. It's a great indicator of where her mindset is and where she might take you. But black men don't see it like that. Black men just want the big old booty, short shorts, crop top. Throw it around in a circle. And I can't lie, I love to see it, but I understand those type of women. I've worked with them. I've seen them in school and stuff like that. I understand the personality traits that come with that. And the decision making that comes with women that wear booty shorts out all the time. So I definitely understand where he's coming from. Nerds within our community, being black, being nerdy into geeky things is definitely not a dating preference. Of course, the black nerds are always going to date each other, but it limits your pool. As a black man, if you're more ambitious and you want to get out there and play ball or whatever, because that's really your talent and you don't have much else going on for you, I would say that's great. But go find you a woman that isn't Ice Spice or Tiana Trump. Go find you a woman that is actually capable and smart and could do something in her own right. As a black woman, I would say stop going after men who clearly don't care. I don't understand that mindset at all, maybe because I'm not a woman. So I don't understand why a woman would pick a man who is clearly just bad news, clearly just delinquent, clearly don't care about nothing but himself. So I don't see why a woman would get with that. But for women, I would say the minute that you start seeing that shit, you gotta bounce. You gotta let that go because you do reinforce that for other men. I seen that and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely stop being as nice. I'm still nice to women. It's not like I'm an asshole or anything, but I don't open doors for women, that's for sure. Like, I don't open car doors for women. I don't call, oh, how you doing today, baby? Good morning, I love you so much. I'm not doing that because I see that if I do that, they're going to leave me alone. Like, that's just as a way for me to secure my spot. I can't be as affectionate as I want to be. I can't be as kind as I want to be because I know that's not what women actually like. And it works. It works. So there is big problems when it comes to the archetypes within our community and how we're pushing it forward too. I would say the media does portray us in a bad light, but black people definitely reinforce these same harmful stereotypes. Like he said, as soon as a black man starts looking at other races and starts dating them, he gets heavily criticized. You see ball players get criticized all the time for the wives they choose, comedians and the wives they choose. So I think that is a big thing within our community, that black men, when they step out of black dating, they get heavily criticized, whereas when the black women do it, yeah, it's talked about, but it's not nearly as mentioned by like celebrities. We don't point at black women who married white men and be like, oh, this is the problem, and have them on TikTok trending black news. But we're gonna talk a little bit more about interracial dating and see how the community actually feels about that.
And all of you new pro-blacks are so fucking obvious. This conversation about not being able to date outside your race if you identify as pro-black being a new conversation in the pro-black community is nuts. I just seen a girl say this conversation is new. This has never been an issue amongst pro-blacks, dating within your race. Like, this has never been a conversation. Girl, what the fuck is you talking about? Niggas been screaming. I'm 30 years old. Finna be 30 years old next year. Niggas been screaming, if you pro-black, you can't date outside your race. It's literally a part of being pro-black, creating black families, whole black families, strengthening the black bloodline. It's literally a part of being pro-black. The issue is, because I'm seeing this a lot amongst women, black women, the whole pro-black community has turned into the pro-black woman community, and a lot of these pro-black quote-unquote women are now divesting. I'm peeping what's really going on here. So now it's so new and sudden that this conversation is coming up because it's never been had before. What the fuck? Y'all must have just tapped in.
Again, I don't believe every black person has to date another black person. But it does speak to how you feel about black people if you're not going to date a black person. To me, I am going to look at you and I'll be like, okay, so maybe that person doesn't really care for the black community as much. I'm not saying all the time every person who dates outside the community is turning their back on the black community. But it is just a little bit strange if you were going to say that you are pro-black. I feel like if you are pro-black, then you want to see black people succeed. We have to have black families then. We have to make sure black DNA is getting replicated, reproduced. But if you go and get with you a white woman, then it's mixed. Now it's diluted. That white woman doesn't understand black culture. She doesn't understand the plight of a black man. She doesn't understand how a black woman needs to walk through this world. So that white woman is not going to be able to pass down the same traditions, the same values, the same way of being. So when that child finally grows up, gets out into the world or goes to school and they're trying to communicate and be amongst other black people, they won't be able to connect in the same way. And they'll feel like outsiders of their own community. As a mixed person, very mixed person, I've definitely felt that within my community. I felt like I'm not always accepted by black people, and that's because my family, yeah, it is a little bit more mixed. I'm not saying we're 100%. I would say I'm probably like a 70-30. I'm not sure. I've never done Ancestry.com, but I can just tell in my futures, I'm a good mix, you know, for sure. But I've seen the discrepancy in culture that it comes with when I talk to other black people with black parents, 2 black parents. I see that. So I say that to say it's only certain things black people can teach other black people. Sadly, we are still a minority in this country. We're not that far removed from slavery. Sadly, there's still a lot of patterns and injustices that happen. So we have to be able to educate ourselves on this, because a mixed baby is typically called a black baby. And even though, you know, they have lighter features and stuff like that, they'll look at their hair and be like, oh yeah, you're black. They'll look at your nose and be like, oh yeah, you're black. So I think it's very important for men and women to keep it within the community. I'm not saying, you know, you're the worst person ever if you go outside the community. But I definitely think if we're going out, if everybody starts to, you know, stop dating black people, then we're not going to have black people anymore. If our generation decides, you know what, it's just too hard to reconcile our differences, then black people as they are, and the culture that has been preserved up to now, will be lost. Because eventually those children are going to have to pick. Your children that are mixed will have to pick amongst an increase of mixed people. So it gets diluted further. And I'm saying, like, yeah, sure, if America's a mixing pot, if everybody just, you know, dated each other and made babies, then everybody would look the same. There wouldn't be any race, there wouldn't be any problem. But there wouldn't be any diversity. There wouldn't be any culture. Sure, you can preserve culture and keep it going without having, you know, the identity of it. But would it even mean much if everybody has the same culture and it doesn't really matter what you belong to? Everybody could just kind of identify as something? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit more exclusionary in the way I see things. Maybe I'm a little bit more old school in the way I see things. But I definitely think being pro-black means creating black families, because that's what I want to do. I want to get with a black woman and create a black family. I want to see black people succeed more in this country. I feel like black people have been downtrodden for a while. I'm not saying, you know, it's always been bad and there's nothing you can do as a black person and everything's against you and the world is gonna burn because you're black. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it is still just a little bit more unfair. We are still a minority in this country. We see what goes on the news. We see the incarceration rates. There is a problem within the black community and we need to work as a community to build it up, build it better. And I think videos like this are my contribution to it. And videos like this help the situation, having open discussions and trying to understand each other and dispel certain misconceptions. I know it's going to ruffle some feathers and stuff like that, and you can't convince everybody, but you can get people to see common ground again. I feel like that is a big thing, and you can change a significant amount of minds. Not every mind, but enough. My whole spiel on this is black people need to stop playing. Black people need to start making babies. We need to start getting together, start getting married. You want to get married? Because I'm trying to look. I need one. I'm looking for that. I need that in my life right about now. I'm going to keep making black commentaries like this. I like to talk about religion. I like to talk about music and culture. So stick with me. I got some more content just like this coming. If you like what I got going on here, make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching.